song I chose to walk up tonight is called Dear Life, and it's by this great Canadian country music band called High Valley. So, first confession of the evening, I'm a huge country music fan. You'll have to forgive me. The talk will get better from here, trust me. But the song is a reflective song. It's a song of gratitude. It's written by someone probably in midlife, 40 years old. I'm here now. Looking back on what he has achieved, the ups and downs of life, but ultimately begging for things to slow down as he looks forward to the next 40 years. And I connect with that. Again, I turned 40 this year. I'm eternally grateful for my wife, Katherine, and my beautiful 2 boys. We've accomplished some things in life, but ultimately I'm becoming more reflective as I get to 40 years old, and I do want things to slow down. So that's a good segue into what I want to talk about. And I promised myself I wouldn't look at my notes, so I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to talk about decision making, how we've come through a few decisions in our life, and some of the things I've learned, some of the patterns I've learned, and maybe in my mid-20s and mid-30s as I reflect on those years, how I came through some decisions. But ultimately, now that I'm 40, I'm kind of recognizing those things that come up in decisions. So I'll forewarning, life's not perfect. I'm going to dwell on the good decisions, not the bad decisions, because we've all made them. Anyway, I am Dan. I play counselor on TV a couple times a month. My life is not perfect, even though I bow to the pressure of trying to make it look perfect all the time. My kids give me a headache. I am argumentative with my wife. I do all those things, and I fail every day, and I thank you for the grace, Katherine. You're the best. So, decisions. I'm going to share with you 3 scenarios where the fear of failure, and this is the title of my talk, the fear of failure, which grips us a lot, can be transitioned into sort of a fuel for success. And the first time I went through this scenario, I didn't recognize it. Second time I did. Now, it's kind of like old hat. But the first scenario I wanted to share with is back in our early marriage life, Katherine and I just finished our student loans, and we decided, let's do it. Let's be that ambitious 30-year-old couple, and let's go buy those investment properties, and let's make a go of it. So it was romantic, it was idealistic. We bought these 2 little cottages in Sandbanks Provincial Park, and we thought, we did it. Everything is checked off. We've done it. And about 48 hours after we made the purchase, that feeling was amazing. We're euphoric, like, look at what we've done. This is amazing. But then 48 hours sets in, and you start looking at it, and you think, what did we do? Leaky pipes, no insulation, no heat source, mice in the wintertime, 2 hours down the road from us, and we wanted to rent these things. And so, for a while, for the first 5-6 years of owning these places, the fear of failure kind of gripped me. I didn't enjoy myself down there. I would go down there, and I'd just like, oh, what's next? What's coming at us next? And it wasn't until I actually turned to that fear and said, listen, this can't continue. If this continues, I'm going to really fail at this. So I needed to lean into that fear and make it something better. And I turned it, again, unwittingly at the time, leaned into it, put in 2, 3, 4 good years of hard work, and now it's our favorite place in the world to be. We head down there as much as we can. We rebuilt one last year. And that's not bragging about anything. That's just to say I learned something through that process, which I carried into the next big sort of life decision that we made shortly after moving to Guelph, which was to run for city council. And I'm not going to share some political speech about ambitions or this, that, and the other. Like, you've all heard it. We all have our own motivations for running, for taking on big goals. But I will share, a day after I announced that I was going to run for council, the exact same feelings set in. 24 hours after your name goes through the paper for the first time, you're like, hey, look, we did it. Now what? And that fear of failure set in again, that fear of, oh my goodness, what if I embarrass myself? What if I embarrass my wife? What if I embarrass my family? What if I let people down? What if what to do next? And it was weird because it wasn't until I decided to look at that fear and say, you know what, I am scared of this. This does kind of scare me a little bit. But what can I do? I'm 4 months away from an election day. I can't live like this for 4 months. So I decided to lean in, look at that fear in the eye, and say, what's the tool I need to sort of shake that fear down just a little bit, just to get rid of it, because I was a bear. And it was door knocking, of all things. One of the things that politicians might hate the most is door knocking. 1 in 100 houses literally slams the door in your face. Katherine was with me. She was 9 months pregnant, and she was door knocking, and I'll refer to him as a gentleman, but he was barely a gentleman. He literally slammed the door in Catherine's face. And Katherine, don't worry, I still got that address written down. It's okay. Through that process, that fear of the fear of failure kind of fueled my motivation. And by the time I picked my head up, once I recognized what took care of the fear, I'd knocked on 7,000 doors. And the outcome, quite frankly, the personal growth that occurred through the campaign was the primary growth of what happened in me. And the outcome was, it was great that I'd captured this seat, but really I'd learned something about myself that I needed to face those fears of failure. And those actually were great fuel for motivation, which leads me to my last talk. And I knew I'd get through this faster in 10 minutes. But it's the next challenge that we've taken, and I'm happy to share with it a little bit tonight. It's one of the great rewards of this job, city council, is the people I meet. I mean, I look across at the people that are here tonight, and I've probably met them all since getting elected, and I'd count them all as dear friends. And that is a reward that you get from being in the council seat, but it's not talked about. The positive and negative, let's face it, mostly negative stories that come out of City Hall about you. That can wear you down, but it's the people that I've met that have really been the most enriching part of the job. And so the challenge that I'm taking upon myself, and thanks to some of the smart people in the room who have joined me in this challenge over the last, I guess we're going on 5 months of working on this project, is to share those stories. Share that optimism that is sort of put into my life almost on a daily basis from the people I meet around town and the compelling stories that I hear. And so we're going to do it. 5 months ago, and Rob, where's Rob? Thanks to Rob, he is actually producing the show. We're going to do it. It's called Royal City Stories. It's coming up in 3 weeks. We're probably going to go public with that. And it's all about telling the compelling stories of people, the everyday heroes in Guelph that we don't actually see too much anymore when we're reading our newspaper. But I'm not selling the show. I want to speak about the fears that I'm now recognizing when they creep in. So you take this big challenge on, you want to tackle this thing, and then you say, well, what if? Like, what if we fail? What if it doesn't do good? Or what do we need to do? Well, now I recognize that fear. I've seen it before. I've seen it in big challenges. And so now, Katherine, you know what's coming. She knows them. She knows the man she married. We're going to lean in. We're going to lean into that fear. It's not going to build up walls around us and sort of all encompass us. And we're going to focus on the things that we can control to sort of push those fears down and hopefully create an opportunity for success. So that's my motivation for everyone here who might relate to those fears of failure when you decide to take on a big challenge, is to stare those fears down, look them in the eye, figure out what is inside you that can help chip away at that fear even on a daily basis, and really pour yourself into that aspect of it. Because when you pick your head up, when the process is over, you pick your head up, and not only have you grown as a person, I can relate to that, but you're more accepting of the outcome. You really are, no matter good or bad. Now, hopefully you're successful, but the one thing I've learned is that the outcome is almost secondary to your personal growth. And quite frankly, when you apply yourself like that and tackling those fears, you're going to create more opportunity for it to succeed. So I hope that's motivation. I'm sorry, I am not Wonder Woman. That was a terrific talk. And everyone today has been motivating. Thank you so much for the platform. Rob, this is terrific. And be well. Thank you.